Good morning, hockey fans. This is Stephen Heisler with JuniorHockey.io, the Victorious Hockey Company, and the absolutely amazing Junior Hockey Discussion Group on Facebook. You are watching the Junior Hockey Morning Show. We are on the World Sports Broadcasting Network, WSBN.TV, Facebook, X, YouTube. Wherever you are today, hope that you are enjoying the Robinson Cup. I did not enjoy the second round of the NHL playoffs with my beloved Leafs falling again. Actually, they looked like a pile of crap in that game last night. Might have to take the flag behind me and turn it upside down. Just ridiculous. All right, so while I'm in a bad mood, we'll jump right into today's article. So I've made it a point not to talk about other advisors. I made it a point to keep that element out of my content for the last, 15 years. But that changes today, and here is why. There is a movement or a tendency for teams to want to cut corners. And they want to fill their camps so bad, even though the pre-draft camps and such things are now becoming more and more of a money grab, less of a real opportunity, more about an opportunity to fill a bank account than it ever was about identifying real prospects. That's where the game is. Players know better, families know better. That's not the camp you have to go to. Wait for the main camp invitation because it's certainly going to come, and they do. So teams are starting to figure that out. But in the meantime, we still have situations where teams are going to cut corners. And this is by hiring an advisory company guy to come in to your team staff. Sometimes people think that's the fastest way to build a team. That's not correct. What ultimately happens is there's so many advisory companies out there is that when one team shows so much allegiance to one advisory company that nobody else is going to want to send their players there. I, for one, won't do that. Can't do it. Here's an example of why it's not a good deal, a good idea. 23-24 season, the Idaho Falls Spud Kings are the new NCDC West. They played in the Premier the year before, but they retained the coach from the year before in Marty Quarters. He works with his son at Rural Run Sports. What's the problem? Nothing. They get into the season. I didn't say nothing. I tried to get players to go out there. Marty didn't have any interest in any of our guys, wouldn't even really let them come out and skate. Maybe one or two managed to, that was about it. I let it go. Marty's with Rural Run. He's going to take care of his kid. I get it. Fast forward to this year. Marty is gone from Idaho Falls. They have a new coach at Anthony Bone. It's a completely different team. And Marty stayed on the wayside until late in the season where he became the new GM for next year for Rock Springs. I did a little digging. What happened to all those kids from Rural One that played in Idaho Falls in 24-25? I went through the whole roster. I believe there was 13 of them that I can see. 13 that are still currently Rural One clients. There might be more players that might have left Rural One since the 23-24 season. But as of today or yesterday, those guys were still part of Rural One, 13 of them. So where did those kids go for this year, the 24-25 season? I don't think any actually returned to Idaho Falls. At least they didn't stay for the whole year. If they did, they may have went to camp, but they weren't selected. One player ended up in the North American Hockey League in Aberdeen. Great for him. One kid went NCAA Division III. Good job. One went ACHA 1. Actually, two did. But the rest, poof. They're either in lower levels of play of the USPHL or the EHL, or they're playing a lower level of club hockey at ACHA 2 or 3 or even AAU. A couple of kids, I can't see them playing anywhere in 24-25. So why is that? What happened? What happened was players got an overvalued sense of self by playing on a team that really didn't belong at the first place. They probably should have been playing somewhere else last year and not Idaho Falls. Idaho Falls struggled on the ice, and one of the reasons why is so many players with the connection to Rural One Sports. That's where we are. Marty is going to do the same thing next season, I'd imagine, in Rock Springs. We're already seeing some of that. That's okay. But I don't want to be a part of that. That's one thing I won't do. I have turned down job after job after job within the North American Hockey League, out of the North American Hockey League. Just wasn't worth it. That and my beautiful wife doesn't want us to live anything north of Orlando. And there's no NA teams in Orlando, so you're pretty safe. Regardless, it's still a conflict of interest. I won't take a scouting job. I'll be in advisory mode with some teams that do that. Automatically, we help coaches. We don't charge coaches to help them, but we've been doing it for a number of years. That was one of Bliss Littler's ideas, to mentor young coaches. That's been very effective. And we pick and choose who we work with. But we certainly do not take money for a position and take a role on a team in that area, in that role. Certainly not as an advisor, not as a team staff. Just can't do that. So here we are. 2025-26 season, moving forward, we do see another advisory company that has a general manager at the Lone Star Brahmas. We still see Marty out there in Rock Springs. I'm sure there's other situations like that. I do want to commend one person. I don't really like Dennis Canfield at all. I think he did Don Stone and the Atlanta Capitals pretty dirty a couple years ago. Also, what happened in Wisconsin wasn't pretty. I think Dennis Canfield is a good hockey coach. Keep him away from the money. So he did resign his position as an advisor to join the New Jersey Titans for the upcoming season, late last season. So I'll give him that. He did resign his position as an advisor and move forward. That's the right thing that you guys should be doing. If you want to switch from one side to the other, cut the ties. Parents, kids, if you look at a hockey team and your advisor is listed as a scout for that team, stay away. If your advisor is a coach for a team or a general manager for a team, stay away. That's not the place you want to go. Also, players that might be looking at going to those teams, you might want to think twice, because if you're not one of their clients, they may not give you the same opportunities as their clients will get. Something to think about. All right, that's my rant for today. Not bad for a Monday. Voice seems to be on track. Tommy forgot the lights, so it might be dark in here, but that's okay. Until tomorrow,